What is going on, guys? Welcome to Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast. This is your AEW Dynamite review for November 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, Phil, and this is Outside the Brand. Even though we had some unfortunate news, we still had an amazing show for you guys tonight. We had an amazing Dynamite. This be me until maybe Loft can join in, but we will still be here regardless. So we had a great show. Cody and Andrade tore the house down. We had Miro advancing in the tournament to face Bryan Danielson at Full Gear. If that's not a great plan B after what happened on Tuesday, I don't know what counts as like a great plan B. The TBS Championship Tournament continued as Jamie Hayter went on in the tournament in a great match. So we'll talk about that. And also, we just had other amazing stuff happening on Dynamite tonight. And we'll be breaking down everything tonight when it comes to AEW. If you guys don't already, please go follow us on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you guys want to take a listen to the MFN Right remix by Loft and Bash, that link is also down in the description. If you guys can get this stream to 10 likes before the end of the night, be greatly appreciated. And hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell to all notifications. That way you never miss when OTB is live. Now, normally I'd ask, guys, how the heck are you? But hey, it's only me. And it looks like actually somebody did join. And it's 1C. What's up, my man?
That's Orange 1C to you.
It's Orange 1C. It's orange.
Orange 1C.
What's up, my man? How are you? You were at Dynamite tonight.
I was indeed at Dynamite tonight. It was one hell of a time. Man, oh man.
You always have a great show, and we're going to be breaking it down throughout the entire night. But man, this is a great stuff. This is some great action tonight. We had a great main event. We had Miro in that main event, which is, I think, a perfect plan B option.
Indeed.
For the fallen Jon Moxley. I do kind of want to talk about that Moxley situation. Earlier on Tuesday, Tony Khan went out to Twitter and said that Jon Moxley went into a rehab facility. And with all that being said, I just wish Jon the best of luck in his recovery. I wish Renee the best of luck just dealing with the situation. When you saw and when you heard about that announcement about how Jon ultimately went to rehab for the alcohol problems and such, what were your initial thoughts and how everything was going to go down, not only for tonight on Dynamite, but just him in general and just how he was going to process all of this?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I couldn't I couldn't believe what I read. It was like a complete total shock, because you never know what a superstar is going through after the show is done and all that shit. So to know that Moxley obviously was having problems with alcoholism, that's something that he should get help for, and that's something that he made the right call for doing.
Right.
I was in total shock. I figured out that Cassidy and Moxley was going to take place here tonight, and I was pumped for that. But after seeing the whole news about Moxley and whatever, I know getting help is way more important than showing up and doing the match. So that's good for him. But I just hope the best of luck for him, and I hope that him and Renee and their child can fight through his alcoholism. So
100% agree. alcoholism is a real thing. It affects everybody in some way, shape, or form, whether that was a family member or whether that's literally just anybody that you know. People go through this, and it's a very serious matter. And like CM Punk said in his promo tonight, and we'll go over that, if anybody, whether it's you or whether it's someone you know or whether it's someone in your family that needs help in any way, shape, or form, either reach out to them or call somebody, because somebody is always there. And that's pretty much what CM Punk was saying tonight, and a lot more. He said that he was not the best of friends with Moxley, but he knows well enough to know that, hey, at this point in everyone's careers, it's not that hard to just pick up a phone, call somebody just to see if they're all right. Absolutely. And hey, at the end of the day, he's going to get through this, and we'll see him soon enough inside that AEW ring. But man, we have a story to break down, not only with the Jon Moxley, but a story involving Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham Rotunda. Mm-hmm. And then we can get into the review. A report came out earlier on this week that someone from WWE management said, and I quote, deserved to be fired, Bray Wyatt. In a way. So they said that Bray Wyatt deserved to be fired. I take this from Ringside News, and this is a direct quote from the executive that spoke with them earlier on this week. Not to be an apologist or a WWE defender, I'm just telling you like it is. If you were running a business and Wyndham was on your payroll, you'd release him too. Between his backstage antics and the way he handled himself when he was making millions and millions while medically flagged, he really deserved to be released. That's a bunch of bullshit.
That does sound like bullshit.
First of all, when you're saying not to be an apologist or a WWE, what did he say? Or a WWE defender, that's what you're exactly being, just to cover your own ass. And they said like something like, if like with the backstage antics and how he's handling himself and he was making millions of dollars for doing all of this. I don't know about you, but he was the number one merchandise seller in that company at that time when he was the Fiend.
Easily.
And not to be mistaken, I think they're still selling Fiend like products. I mean, they gave the gimmick to Alexa Bliss. You're still selling Fiend merchandise on the WWE shop. So that right there just makes no sense when you're still literally making money off the guy. And the whole thing about him not handling himself right when he was making millions of dollars, I wonder why. Because you legitimately buried him in Saudi Arabia to Goldberg. The Fiend never recovered. Never. And the man had a vision for what he wanted to do and what he wanted the Fiend to ultimately become, and they took that away from him.
Yep.
They took that away from him, and we had an amazing character that had so much promise. But at the end of the day, the Fiend turned out to be a complete joke.
Oh yeah.
Not because of Bray. It's not Bray's fault. But because of the WWE executives, Vince, Bruce, and ultimately WWE Creative. He wanted to share something with us that was something completely different than what we've seen on WWE TV before. And at the end of the day, it was just Creative that ruined the entire ordeal.
Absolutely.
And now,
I would say that Fiend, that whole Fiend character, it's an absolute joke. Like there's no coming back from it. That's pretty obvious. Yeah. But I mean, like you give it this look, And you can still look at the Fiend. You can still look at the Fiend's attire now and realize, okay, that this should be a monster. That this is a badass attire. And then you see the history that it goes through, and you're like, damn, they give it this dope ass look. They make it look like a beast, and then they give them this whole history of stories that just fall in the dumpster.
Exactly.
And with the whole Huskus type shit, whatever they were planning for that shit looked fire as hell. But at the same time, I'm happy that he didn't bring that out. I'm happy that he turned down WWE's offer to take control over it, because that would have just turned right into a joke with the fucking Fiend. So that he could use that if he wanted to now, wherever he's gonna go, and get full control over it. So
exactly. And now, when this man ultimately goes to any other promotion, whether that is AEW, whether that is Impact Wrestling, or like I said, any other wrestling promotion, they'll let him and his creative mind flourish. And they'll let those creative juices flow. And not only that, but when that does happen, and it is ultimately going to happen because his 90-day no-compete clause is officially up. It was officially up on October 30th. When that does eventually happen, I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh yeah, this is just another WWE reject going to a different company just so that he can try something else. This was not his fault. None of this was his fault. He got fired for budget cuts.
My fucking God.
Like, we just knew at the end of the day, they just said, you know what, fuck you, fuck whatever your vision was, you're out of here.
Oh yeah, and I think half the guys that were released could say the same thing. I mean, like they fucking, like, there was so many superstars who had potential that came into this company and were let go in a fucking heartbeat because of a terrible storyline, or just didn't get the time to be used because of the fucking big ass roster. But you gotta think, it's a big roster. They should do what AEW does and bring everyone in every week, different people. But then they want to bring in the same 6-7 superstars that come on every week and main event. Why? Like, I get AEW can do the same thing, but they switch it up every time.
Yeah. And when Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham Rotunda, just ultimately kills it wherever he lands, I'm just gonna be laughing all the way to the bank, because then we'll know that at the end of the day, once again, WWE fucked up. And they're gonna say, oh yeah, well, Bray Wyatt wasn't needed. He was fat. He didn't really have anything going for him. All that stuff. Come on now. Come on. You mean to tell me that if Bray Wyatt was a free agent in the world of professional wrestling, you wouldn't want to sign him? You wouldn't want to sign him.
I mean, I would. Okay. He's a fucking probably if not the hottest free agent right now.
Yes, and that mind of just him and just the creativity that he has flowing within him, I would want that. I would want that. I'm pretty sure everybody in this goddamn chat would want that in their wrestling promotion as well. So at the end of the day, Bray Wyatt's going to kill it no matter where he lands. It's going to be a great thing to see. We've seen some teases from him already about what he's going to try to bring. And whether that's at Full Gear where he debuts, or whether that's just at some random event, it's going to be a great thing to see, because once Bray is here, it can only be up from him for here, because he's a great mind, and it's going to be a great thing to see.
Absolutely. Once he's in his own mind, in his own world, there's no stopping him.
Right. And but guys, that's it. That was the news on Bray Wyatt, on how he apparently deserved to be fired. But man, I just want to get into the review right now. 1C, you were there live.
Hell yeah, it was.
Which is a great thing because I get to view it as a TV watcher, and you got to see this live. So you'll have a different kind of perspective when it comes to the different opinions here and there. But man, I have to ask you, how was that crowd live? Because it felt like it was hot tonight.
Holy shit.
Throughout the entire show, it felt really hot.
Oh yeah, it absolutely was. I was on the floor level, so obviously I was in there with the crowd and whatnot. But it was fucking electric. I'm just gonna tell you that. I was there. I was fucking cheering nonstop, saying shit over and over again. I mean, when the fucking Man of the Year came out, man, we was going right at them, bro. Keep calling them dipshit and fucking all that shit. Oh my god, dude. And every time, like, so we saw Dark Elevation that before Dynamite, obviously, and fucking, the Acclaimed came out and they was fucking roasting up on my boy Patrick Mahomes. So everybody there gave him a big fuck you. Like it was absolutely out of control. Everybody was fucking flipping him off. I was even over there flipping him off. I was like, go fuck yourself, all this shit. But man, the crowd was insane. It was insane.
Now, did you stay for Rampage? Because
they didn't do Rampage tonight. They're taking that to St. Louis on Friday.
Oh, okay. So it is okay. That they did say it was going to be live, but I didn't really think that was going to be the case because usually they tape that stuff. When I was at Grand Slam, all those weeks ago, they did Rampage right after. So I thought that's what they just did every time. But
and normally they do that.
But yeah, they're taking it to St. Louis live.
Yeah, tonight they said that they were taking it to St. Louis because that's obviously where Eddie Kingston's from, and with the whole Eddie Kingston CM Punk bullshit. I mean,
right.
Obviously by Punk's promo.
Yeah, with the promo and everything. But you did get to see Dark and Dark Elevation, those tapings for the YouTube stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't really watch Dark and Dark Elevation that much, but considering of the matches that were pretty much leaked and everything, I might check some stuff out.
Yeah,
but
it was definitely good. I mean, we saw a fatal 4-way, or not fatal 4-way, an 8-man tag. It was Dark Order versus 2.0, and who's the other team? I don't remember the other team. Fuck. Oh, the Acclaimed. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Actually, I might have to check out. But yeah, so we kick things off on Dynamite tonight with it was Kenny Omega. It was Kenny Omega. Not a lot of people like Kenny Omega right now, but Kenny Omega is still one of the greats. He faced off against Alan Angels, number 5 of the Dark Order, and I have to say, even though this was, I mean, come on, Alan Angels was not really going to beat Kenny Omega, but this was a pretty good opener to start off the night tonight. I thought it was a great match.
Absolutely, it was a great match. I mean, Alan Angel put up one hell of a fight. I'd give him that, but that Kenny Omega, I mean, when you're the AEW World Champion, you're facing somebody that's in like a faction like the Dark Order itself. It's pretty obvious that the champion's going to pick up the win on that one. So
yeah,
I mean, it was great. It was great overall. But
they were great in the ring together.
Absolutely.
These guys have faced one other time before, and it was fantastic. So I didn't really have any recollection that this was just going to be a shit show. I knew this was going to be an okay match to kick off the show. So, and it was. So it was a great opener.
Indeed.
We had the final sequence being Omega hits a V-trigger, goes for a cocky cover, and Alan Angels kicks out at the count of 2. Omega hits another V-trigger and goes for another cover, 1, 2, 3. So 2 V-triggers in a row. Great stuff. I just love seeing that V-trigger live. That V-trigger, like when you see it live, man, it hits so different than seeing it on TV.
Just the loud effects from the moves that you hear there in person is like
Yeah,
it gives you the chills. Like when I went there, I watched Dark Elevation, all that shit, and it was like it was crazy that because I'm used to going to the WWE events, so being here
right.
in my first ever AEW event, it's like wow, all these superstars that could have had an opportunity but never got picked up, and now they're here. It's like you're seeing the outside world of WWE. Like you're seeing all these top superstars from all around the world just wrestle in one big company, and it's like it gives me the chills because I'm not used to seeing those people. I'm
Yeah,
more used to
yeah,
the WWE people, so it's like seeing people like Powerhouse and Kenny and fucking even Taz's son, like it's
right.
crazy. It's
Hook.
yeah, it's
All the
absolutely
hooks out
insane.
there. Um, but man, like, plus the AEW arenas are completely different
Oh yeah,
than the WWE arenas. I mean, they go into venues that, well, I'll use Grand Slam as an example. Again, Grand Slam happened in a tennis stadium.
right.
It,
I,
it,
I,
it,
yeah,
it, it was in a tennis stadium.
yep. And
That's
ours took
never
place
been
in a
hosting wrestling.
yeah, ours took place in a fucking hockey stadium. Never
Yeah,
that's literally AEW is the only place here in my area that only does it at a hockey stadium. They've
yeah.
only been here twice, and the first time they did it was at the hockey stadium. The second time they did it was at the same stadium. So
Like they do it in different types of arenas. They don't go well when they do go to the big ones. They go to the big ones and they make it as big as the arena itself, like the card. I mean, and like how everything is booked. When it comes to like these different types of arenas, it fits the show because it has like that different type of feel, and
oh
you
yeah.
know as soon as you get into that arena, something's gonna go down. And tonight was a perfect prime example of that. When when I was at Grand Slam, seeing that stage just on its own had me mesmerized. How did you feel when you walked into that stadium tonight and just looking at this stage compared to like a WWE stage all those years ago when we had to go to live events or anything of that nature when we went to a Raw or SmackDown?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So obviously taking it back to July when I went to Raw, I went in and you always get a good feeling when you walk in because like you get to see the whole setup, the shit that you miss and all that stuff, and it's like okay, that's cool. But this was my first AEW event, so obviously going into a stadium that I've never been in before, but seeing like there's literally TVs everywhere, and all you can see is like like the highlights and the previews of matches and all this shit go on, and then of course when I walk in and I'm going to the merchandise section or whatever, I see a like a piece of the stadium, and I instantly had fucking chills running down my arms, and so obviously I went to the merchandise stand, and of course, I got the All Elite Baby shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, yes,
Good,
sir.
good.
And so I went there and we had to take a right to go to my section. And so obviously me being on the floor, I go in and it was like absolute dream. It was like
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that I was like looking at the stage because I always like the stage better than the WWE. Like I like the tunnels that they have. That shit looks cool as fuck. And you got like the fucking Titantron shit.
The
It's
signature
awesome.
chandelier that's above there and all that. And
Yeah, yeah. And Josh, those tickets were expensive. Yeah, you don't want to know the prices on them bitches, but
yeah, trust me.
and Josh, I also gotta agree with you. AEW crowds are louder than WWE. Like ours, we
it's
had less of an attendance than WWE, and we were fucking blowing the shit up.
it's a completely different atmosphere
Oh
when you're
yeah.
in an AEW crowd compared
Oh
to
yeah,
WWE.
it's great. Like I wish the crowd, like, and everyone there was friendly too. Like everyone around me, we would have conversations and shit, and it was like, why can't the WWE fans be like that? Why can they not get this hype? Why can they not, be easy to talk to and shit? Like well, let's be honest here, they're a whole bunch of fucking kids, but Here, I mean, it's not a PG show. It's just fucking straightforward. Yeah, kick some ass. Let's go.
It's professional wrestling.
Yeah, that's
It's
literally what it
professional
is.
freaking wrestling. And over there, you got your entertainment. But,
Yeah.
I mean, after the match, we had Kenny Omega get on the mic and says that Alan Angels almost ruined his career, but as the god of pro wrestling, he has the power to giveth and to taketh away. Nakazawa, get me a chair. Omega then tries to set up a one-winged angel that would land him on the chair.
Cowboy shit.
And cowboy shit himself.
Yes, sir.
Music hits, and Page knocks down Nakazawa on his way to the ring, and Page goes for the buckshot lariat, and Omega ducks and escapes up the ramp. Page is in the ring with the championship. He picks up the mic and smiles at Omega. Page gets on the mic and says, Omega, you forgot something. You better hold on to it tight because you got 10 days left.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of Hangman, but like just tonight, and hearing the theme and saying cowboy shit over and over again, I think I'm a fan of him now. Not gonna lie, that shit was low key fire.
Yeah.
And so it was just like once you like I didn't know what to think, because obviously I was still trying to get used to the whole fucking place. And to see, Omega there, I mean, just seeing Omega there, like, completed my fucking night, because Kenny Omega is just all alone fucking fantastic. So, and then realizing that Hangman Page is going to be here, it's just kick fucking ass, dude. It's awesome.
And we got one more show for Wednesday, and then it's the pay-per-view at Full Gear. So
absolutely,
we got one more week to build this up, and then it's time, y'all. I'm saying this right now. Omega's losing that title.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. I at this point, as much as I love Kenny, it's cowboy shit. That's what it is.
He's so over right now. You can't have him win that ladder match and then just lose. Yeah. You can't have him win that ladder match to ultimately lose at Full Gear. That just can't happen.
It can't. It really can't.
So Full Gear is going to be a great match. Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page will tear the house down. They were former tag team champions in this company before, and now they're going at it again, but this time for the world title. It's going to be absolutely insane. And so after that, we did get an announcement that Miro is going to be Jon Moxley's replacement in the AEW World Title Eliminator main event. And after that, we had CM Punk come to the ring. So, but before we had a commercial break, actually, we had Malachi Black standing in darkness, and he pretty much cuts a promo about the men in power, saying that they have made bad decisions on him being barred from ringside during Cody and Andrade's match, and pretty much saying, look, at the end of the day, my man's going to get the job done. So, listen, I love Malachi Black. I love Andrade. They linked these two together, and we all know how they linked these two together, and it's all thanks to Zelina.
Indeed.
But hey, you know what? I'm fine. I'm good with this. I'm fine with this. I just want to see some great matches at the end of the day with this, whether that is involving Cody or whether that's just involving any of these two. I'm fine with it. I just want to see some great in-ring action. That's exactly what we got later on in the night.
Absolutely. Malachi Black obviously giving off the great promos as usual, and if it's not a great promo, then it's a great ass fight. So
right. So we come back from a commercial break, and CM Punk chants were roaring through that arena. You guys, when it comes to CM Punk chants, those chants are freaking loud.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've been loud ever since the Rampage debut, and they've been loud ever since. And he said, "Look, I'm not ever gonna really get tired of this, and obviously we're not either. So keep at it, fans of CM Punk." But Punk says that CM Punk is not the name that he wants to be hearing right now, and if he wants to talk, and if he can talk serious with us, that would be greatly appreciated as well. There are two people who aren't here. One of them has a legitimate reason not to be here, and that man is Jon Moxley.
And
That is the name we want to hear.
And the fact that, like, right when he said that he wants to hear the name Jon Moxley, it was instant. Or we're dropping the CM Punk chance. We're going straight to Moxley.
Straight to Moxley, and that's exactly what they did, and that translated right onto TV too. So I'm glad that's actually how it went down. So at this point, everybody was chanting Moxley. He says that he's proud of Jon, and he knows what it's like to be on a hamster wheel all the time. Tells everyone to reach out if they are going through difficult times. It's the most courageous thing in the world. The second guy who isn't here is Eddie Kingston. And Punk says that he doesn't like being interrupted. There is no beef. If there was no beef, I would just fight him outright, but he isn't here. So if he has the balls, I'll show up in St. Louis and I'll accept your apology. See you on Rampage, Eddie. And that was a direct quote. So he's going to St. Louis. He's going to pretty much Eddie Kingston's backyard, and he's demanding an apology. And I can't wait for it not to happen so that we can get this at Full Gear, and it's going to be great. I don't mind that it's only a 2-week build. I said this last week.
Eddie Kingston obviously living in St. Louis. I feel like it's definitely gonna happen at Full Gear. If there's a match that happens at Rampage, guaranteed disqualification, Eddie Kingston. Yeah. And it's gonna either way, it's gonna lead to Full Gear. It's either Eddie Kingston's gonna show up to the show and pull some bullshit and leave, or they're gonna have a match. It's gonna be disqualification, and it's gonna lead to Full Gear. So either way, it's gonna be a Full Gear match.
And it's gonna be great because listen, CM Punk has chosen every single one of his opponents from here on out. He chose Darby in his first match. He chose Bobby Fish when he had that match. And he's obviously choosing Eddie Kingston because he knows that this guy can go. He saw what he can do against what he can do when he was going up against Bryan Danielson in that Eliminator tournament match. And he's like, all right, give him to me because this guy can actually go. This guy can bring all of us into a great match at Full Gear, and I think this guy deserves a chance to shine on a big pay-per-view stage like Full Gear. So I think this is one of the ultimate showing of respect by Punk to choose Eddie Kingston for this. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a great match. We're going to have Eddie Kingston. I don't know if Eddie Kingston's going to go over. I think Punk will get the win at the end of the day, but listen, we're not trying to CM Punk will get his first loss at some point, but for right now, he just wants to wrestle. He doesn't really have a character in this company yet. He's just here to wrestle. Once he gets his feet wet, because believe me, I think this is only his 8th match that he's going to go into when it comes to Eddie Kingston at Full Gear. He just wants to wrestle. He wants to go in there with guys, see what he can do, see what he can't do, and then once all of that and the nostalgia effect comes to an end, he'll get a character, he'll just go. Then we can actually see him in real storylines, because it's I like what he's doing right now. I like that he's just putting people over in ring wise, because when you're put over in ring wise and when you're put over through the match itself, you're 3/4 of the way there. Then it's just your character work, and then it's just how you go on from there when it comes to promos and when it comes to just your overall feeling of how everything's gone down. So I think what he's doing is great at the end of the day. So hopefully he continues on this path.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Marvez is with the Elite, and Cole says that last week was a fluke. It will never happen again, and they're afraid of no one. Christian Cage comes from behind and interrupts. Luchasaurus then also interrupts, and they just start brawling.
They took it out here to ringside and
Yeah.
have their little brawl, and out comes fucking Jungle Boy out of the blue with the fucking
He just
swanton.
dies off. Freaking, and it was insane, and it looked so good on TV too. I can't imagine what it looked like live.
Oh, it was great.
So Luchasaurus is getting low blowed at this point after the stage dive and everything. Jungle Boy appears at and once that happens, we had Nick super kicking Christian, Jungle Boy Hurricanrana Matt Jackson all the way down the ramp. Luchasaurus chokeslams Nick onto Adam Cole, which looked great on TV. So that was fantastic. And Jungle Boy hits a snare trap on Adam Cole. Then finally, Christian Cage, at the end of it all, hits a concerto to Adam Cole. Looked great.
You could hear the chair fucking echo throughout the whole building. That shit was loud.
It looked great.
Absolutely.
And we're getting Christian and Adam Cole at Full Gear. That's how they're setting this up.
Oh, yeah.
I personally would have rather have Jungle Boy and Adam Cole at Full Gear, but considering with the way that they're building up this, I can totally see why they're doing Christian.
I feel like it can definitely be Christian and versus Adam Cole, and then you could do Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks if you wanted to, easily.
Yeah. I mentioned this earlier on, and I believe a TikTok video a few weeks ago. We're getting Christian and Adam Cole at Full Gear. Those trios tag team championships are coming at some point down the line. If you want those trios championships to mean something,
those are the two teams.
I'm telling you right now, the finals of a tournament between Jurassic Express and Christian Cage versus the Super Click and Adam Cole and the Young Bucks is a perfect way to do the finals.
Absolutely.
And you can have that culminate at Revolution in February.
The one thing I was pissed about tonight is that we didn't get to do the Adam Cole, baby. That was such a disappointment.
Yeah. We didn't hear the, it's all about the boom music, which
that was a disappointment.
Because when that music hits, it's different, man.
Absolutely. Like everyone that was. I was expecting a lot of superstars to be there, and they were all there. And the one thing I was most pumped for was the boom and the Adam Cole, baby, and we didn't get it. I was like, come on. I got an Adam Cole shirt and everything and never got it. So, such a damn shame. But other than that, I mean, I couldn't ask for a fucking better night. Saw all the superstars I wanted. So, it was great.
Next, man, we had a video package for Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. That match is going to kill it. I saw an interview literally yesterday with Ruby Soho. She was being interviewed by Denise Salcedo of F4W Online. It's a great listen. It's a great it's actually a video on YouTube. You guys can go watch it whenever you please. But they were talking about the match with Chris Statlander, and Ruby was bringing up how she met Chris when she was leaving the independent scene, and while she was leaving, Chris was just kind of stepping in to the business on the indies. She kept up with her throughout that entire time when she was trying to transition into the bigger leagues, so to speak, like the major leagues of professional wrestling, like WWE and all that stuff. So she kept up with her, obviously, through the indies, and she's obviously been impressed the entire way. This is the first time that these two are ever going to face off against each other, and it's going to be a great thing to see. I think these two are going to absolutely kill it. I don't know if this is happening on Rampage or next week on Dynamite, but regardless, it's going to be a great thing whenever it goes down.
Absolutely. Ruby Soho, I will say, she was on Dark, and when she came out, the fucking place erupted. I couldn't tell you how loud it was. Everyone was singing to the song.
The song is fantastic.
It's great. It's at first, like when she first debuted, I was like, I wasn't really feeling it, and it was like the more it kept playing, it was like, hey, this shit's getting catchy as fuck. So it was like, I don't know. So I was just over there just singing my fucking head off, and it was great.
Up next, we had the AAA Tag Team Championships, FTR taking on formerly known as Kalisto, but known as Samurai del Sol, and Aerostar.
Yeah.
This was pretty damn good, I'm going to have to say. This was my first time seeing Aerostar, so I never heard of this guy before.
Yep, that was my first time too. And then obviously being there to see Kalisto debut was insane. Like he really had a lot of good spots in that match. Absolutely. But it was, I mean, it's kind of obvious that FTR was going to win just because they got the titles.
Yeah.
But the titles, personally to me, they don't look good on them because they're not luchadors.
Yeah.
They're just two white dudes just holding a fucking Mexican title. Like, come on.
They don't fit the mold of what AAA is and what they have built that promotion on. Seeing Kalisto was great.
Oh yeah, looked great.
Kalisto never really had that opportunity to truly shine in WWE. Yeah, he was a United States champion. Yeah, he was a cruiserweight champion. But were those championship reigns really memorable?
No,
not really.
The memorable thing really is just seeing Braun Strowman toss him in a dumpster. So
right, and I mean, yeah, sure. Ryback was the one to ultimately save the man's life because of a botched dive all those years ago at I believe it was Payback pay-per-view or whatever the heck it was when those two faced off for the United States title. But I digress. Kalisto is a great talent. I don't know if he is officially signed with the company, but you pair him with somebody like, I don't know. Well, the guy's an ultimate jobber in AEW right now in Fuego, but you give him somebody like a Fuego del Sol who's pretty much in that kind of same realm of a Kalisto, or I'm saying Kalisto, but we all know who he is. You put him with someone like that, you actually have a tag team with those two, that would be great. Because I don't know if he's going to be something like in the AEW World Title picture, but you can do something with him in the tag team division.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's going to be a great fit if they actually do sign him, but it's not really going to be a needle mover, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on Kalisto? If he does ultimately sign with this company?
It's definitely going to give him some potential that obviously WWE didn't give him. He might be one of the best luchador wrestlers in that company to offer if he does sign that contract.
Yeah.
I mean, really from here on out, you can really just wish him the best of luck with what he's gonna be dealing with. I hope that him and Aerostar become an official tag team with AEW, because that would be very nice for the tag team division, especially when it comes to the AAA tag titles.
Right. Yeah.
Seeing FTR versus Aerostar and Kalisto, of course, is hopefully this is just the beginning of it, because I'd love to see more of it.
Yeah. We had Daxing a Brainbuster on the outside, and Aerostar with a victory roll. Cash reverses the cover, grabs the ropes for the 1, 2, 3. So obviously, a heel being a heel here, he grabs the ropes, he does the leverage pin, and that's how they retain the titles. This is not going to be the final time that we see FTR tonight, so we'll get to that when we get to that, because they did get involved later on in the night. We had Tony Schiavone award. Last week Tony Schiavone was about to award Shida with the 50 wins plaque, but Nyla Rose interrupts, sarcastically applauds her and says that she'll face her in the next round of the TBS Championship Tournament, which is true. They will be facing off in round number 2, and it's going to be a great match. I think I'm pretty sure that Shida's winning this thing, but Nyla, she's a hit or miss for me, honestly, when it comes to seeing her in the ring. But it should be okay for what it will be. And that's going to be an okay match for the TBS Championship to see who goes on in the round 3.
Oh, yeah.
And now we had a segment that was absolutely phenomenal in every sense of the word. Inner Circle and America's Top Team. This was fantastic.
Dipshit. Dude, I
Seeing
can't tell
Judas
you.
live is fantastic. I'll say that right off the bat, because I was there doing it at Grand Slam. It's great. I couldn't imagine what it was like here tonight in Kansas.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I finally did it.
It's such a good song.
Beat, like, for real.
Yeah. So they do their whole thing. The music continues playing while they're still in the ring. They have the crowd finish the chorus of the song, as they always do. So they're just standing there waiting for the crowd to pretty much stop singing when the music goes off. That's okay. I mean, heck, it's Judas, so I'm not really going to complain all that much. But Dan Lambert leads Men of the Year out there along with America's Top Team, and Jericho says that they are an ugly collection of dumb idiots. Calls Lambert a dipshit, and Lambert says that says his face isn't even that fat.
Fat face dipshit.
He founded this team 25 years ago, making him member number 1. He gives the Inner Circle the contract, and Lambert goes through his team. Says that he doesn't want Hayter to get a big head, so he presents two of his undefeated MMA stars. And who were they saying again? I'm sorry.
I honestly couldn't even tell you. I mean, I was just too busy telling them to shut the fuck up. So
just marking out and saying shut the fuck up to Dan.
Yeah.
Jericho says that that they can choose any of the members that they want. Hager chooses Junior Dos Santos and says that he looks like Popeye, and they'll drop him faster than they did last night. Santana chooses another member and asks what happens to them when there's no rules or regulations. Paige Van Zant puts her name down for the team and says that she can literally kick all 5 guys by herself.
Yeah, no.
I've seen what Paige Van Zandt can do. She's great, but that's not happening. So she says that there is no Instagram filter in the world that can hide the beating that they will give them at Full Gear, and she can take all the Inner Circle on by herself. Jericho says that she wants to take all of us by herself. That joke writes itself. Maybe she could put that on her OnlyFans. Ortiz says something in Spanish, but then when Sammy translate, she said that she's a bitch. And Jericho then chooses Dan Lambert as the 3rd guy because he was the number 1 member of the team. Dan Lambert was going crazy at this point, saying, "No, I never said that. No, I never said that," even though he clearly did. We heard him. And at this point of the promo, everybody was just chanting "fat face dipshit." So
yeah.
It was just so good. I loved everything about this. Normally, when it comes to outsiders, I'll call them just outsiders because they know what they're doing. They're former UFC guys. Obviously, they know what they're doing when it comes to fighting. But when it comes to outsiders going into the world of professional wrestling, I usually don't like it.
Yeah,
right?
neither do I. I mean, it's 2 completely different experiences. If you think about it.
We had like former football players go to WWE. I'm not solely counting out Pat McAfee because Pat McAfee actually knew what he was doing in that ring when he did it.
Like the time where we're talking about, like when Gronk came in for the fucking
Gronk and the Battle Royal.
Battle Royal, yeah. Gronk came in there, and I mean they've
Hugh
signed
Jackman all those years ago.
Yeah, and they signed superstars that used to go to the fucking
Here's
NFL.
off everybody.
Like, we're talking about Corbin. We're talking about Brock Goldberg at one point, Roman. They all went to the NFL, played football at one point, and I mean to think of who they are now. I mean they're all successful in their own way, but
I mean this story makes sense. This story actually has something to go on about with it, and honestly, they brought in credible guys. They brought in Paige Van Zandt. They brought in Junior Dos Santos.
Oh yeah,
they're bringing in the people that are the best UFC fighters ever to go.
Oh yeah.
So they brought in legitimate guys, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're not bringing in fucking people who are almost nobody's like fucking Cain Velasquez is. Literally, Cain Velasquez might be a UFC champion and might have fucking beat down Brock Lesnar, but what the fuck else has he done?
Yeah. Loff is here. He joined. I don't know where he is, but he'll talk whenever he can. We had the TBS Championship Tournament match between Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter up next. There he is.
He heard Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter and was like, "Yep, got to be here."
There he is.
What's going on?
Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter, they're off.
Oh fuck.
They fought each other in the TBS Championship Tournament, and
I don't know who I wanted to win.
Well, ain't really got an option here, so Jamie Hayter picked up the win.
This was an okay match. It wasn't as long as I thought it could have been, because I think Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter are great, but when it comes down to it, we had Rebel distracting the referee. Baker grabs Jay's ankle, and Hayter hits a big lariat, covers for the 1-2-3. So, numbers game, kind of typical, but Jamie Hayter ultimately moves on, and in this, I'm trying to figure out who she faces next. I'm probably going to look it up right now. That way we can figure out what's going to happen. So she is ultimately going to be facing. Oh, Thunder Rosa. Oh, that's right, because Thunder Rosa then made her return. When not only
Tay Conti.
Tay Conti and Anna Jay were being beat down by the three by Britt and her crew. Thunder Rosa came out and she helped at the end of the day. So I think this TBS Championship Tournament is going on great. I think we're finally going to have something for the women to actually fight for other than the women's championship, because not everybody can be a women's champion. I think that's the reason why they did this TBS Championship Tournament anyway. I think it's going to be great, and Jamie moves on. I think she's a great talent. We just need to see something go on.
And this Friday we get, of course, Red Velvet versus the Bunny.
Yes, Red Velvet versus the Bunny.
I got Red Velvet on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
If the Bunny somehow moves on, I really don't know what they're doing. I think Red Velvet's a great talent, and I think she has people behind her. I mean, look at Loff. I mean,
there was a promo that went on the Titantron, and she said, "I whipped your ass before, and I got no problem doing it again."
Yeah. So we had Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill backstage, and says on Friday they will be watching closely, but it doesn't matter who wins, because whoever she's going to be facing will meet their ultimate demise, and they'll name that championship belt That Bitch Show.
Yeah.
So for TBS. And then JR, just the comedy gold that he is, he said, "Wow, that'll sell."
I didn't even hear any of the fucking commentators.
Yeah. So he said, like, on the commentary when we were just all watching it at home, he's like, "Oh, wow, that'll sell." I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, JR. You do you, my man. But yeah, so we had I still haven't gotten to see this man live yet, and you did. MJF.
Bro, I was giving him the fucking finger the whole time.
I love this man, and I love everything that they have been doing with him.
Bro, I couldn't tell you how many people in that arena were giving him the fucking middle finger. I like literally like I went there,
how
like,
universally hated this guy is.
oh yeah,
and I love
yeah.
it.
Like I was there, and obviously like my dad came along with me, and we were both watching it, and we were both giving him a fucking finger. It was like, shut the fuck up, nobody cares.
He is so universally hated, and it's great.
Hey, and just out of like for at least a good 30 minutes, everyone was fucking looking for Darby Allin.
Yes.
Everyone was looking for Darby Allin. I was even looking, I was like, where the fuck is he? And then I turn around, and like not like 5. He's like a good 10 rows behind me. Just sitting there. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, he was in your section?
He wasn't in my section, but like he was like a good 10 rows behind me.
Damn.
And then when they obviously came into that fucking brawl, they were literally brawling in my fucking aisle.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
So he makes his entrance, and he says that when all the new talent came through the door, others were sweating, but not us, Darby. We are the pillars. We are already top guys, and the other two are great, but they're just not us. So right there, he was kind of putting him over in a way. But he ends that very quickly. He says, "We have it. We will be legendary. Why don't they chant for Darby but boo me? Why do they chant for Darby and boo me? I am a symbol of everything that they wish that they can be, but Darby but Darby is one of them. Deep down, Darby knows that he isn't good enough to be a functional part of society. Darby is a glorified stuntman. Mentally, Darby is weak. In a Full Gear, he will lose because he is too concerned with battling me than beating me. MJF says that he's a better wrestler than Darby, and he's that damn good. Says that he can beat Darby with a headlock takeover.
Bro, when he said he was that damn good, I instantly yelled. I said, "You are not Triple H."
Darby says that he is an outcast. In a Full Gear, he won't attack you with his skateboard, but he'll let his anger out right now. MJF walks away. Sting cuts him off. Seeing Sting live is fantastic.
It's great.
MJF walks away. And they have an army of guys that are pretty much in Darby masks come out, and everybody's just brawling at this point on the stage. I really didn't get that, but but that was just happening. And while all that was happening, Darby hits a sprinting clothesline over the barricade. Darby throws MJF into the ring, goes for a coffin drop, but MJF runs away. So this match is going to be great at Full Gear. I cannot wait for it. I think with MJF ultimately being a guy to possibly go up against Hangman when Hangman does become the champion, you have MJF win here. And you just have MJF go all this way just to get to Hangman Adam Page for that World Championship match. It's going to be great. MJF needs to be a world champion in 2022. He needs to be. And now Wednesday, after he wins the championship, I'm telling you right now, that is going to be a universally hated crowd. I want to see trash thrown at him. I want somebody to try to jump over the barricade to try to get him, because I know that's probably something that's going to happen. That crowd is going to be absolutely insane, no matter where they are. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah. The fucking whole MJF and Darby Allin shit was fucking amazing. I fucking despise MJF. Obviously, I was saying go fuck yourself and giving up the finger the whole damn time. But just to see them brawl, like literally right next to me, was fucking insane. Like I saw MJF fucking got into this fan's face and fucking flipped his hat off and flew it across the fucking stadium. And that, bro, they was about to fight. That shit was funny as fuck, but it was absolutely fucking insane. And I low-key can't wait to see what, goes forward from here. So.
It's Josh says, Phil, you damn well know is pretty much going to happen. I know, and it's going to be great. I want MJF as world champion. I think it's going to be a great thing to see. I said it in a video on TikTok. His promo skills without a championship is fucking immaculate. Imagine him with the title. His entire thing is he's better than you and you know it. With that championship, it's all over.
He's gonna get the craziest boos ever.
It's all over. I guarantee you, off that Wednesday after he wins a championship, somebody's gonna try to jump that barricade.
I hope so. That'll be freaking awesome.
People are going to throw trash in the ring.
Also,
it's gonna be. I would never compare it to something like this because a GCW crowd is just completely fucking different. But when Cardona won that championship, it was universally hated by everybody, and I do believe that people were chucking trash at the guy. If I'm not mistaken. When you saw that match, did you see the match where Cardona won the championship?
Oh yeah.
Like, what weren't the crowd like just absolutely universally pissed at the guy?
Oh yeah. You're talking about
Like,
GCW, right? Like when you won
yeah,
the
the
title.
GCW
Yeah.
crowd.
Oh yeah, they were fucking pissed.
They were throwing
Yeah.
trash in the ring and like all that
They
because
were
they
throwing beer
legitimately hated the guy.
bottles. They were throwing beer bottles. They were throwing food. They were throwing
Like,
trash.
that's exactly what I want when it comes to MJF.
Oh yeah, but yeah, people are gonna be fucking throwing their beers, their cups, their trash. They're gonna fucking be throwing probably their fucking chairs.
Like, I would never want to compare like two different crowds like that because, like I said, GCW is a totally completely different beast.
Oh yeah,
Because that crowd in itself is just,
it's a whole different fucking universe.
yeah, they are really, really into that kind of like lifestyle professional wrestling. But it's going to be that type of heat for MJF, and I can't wait for it. This
See,
is what I live for, to see
just
somebody like this.
just to think like right now, like I'm thinking about what if MJF won the fucking GCW world title at GCW. Just think of how that fucking crowd would react. They'd literally probably fucking set the ring on fire with him in it. Like at that point, like with Cardona is one thing, and Cardona was like, well, he was a heel, but at the same time, he was like, people want him to win this title.
Yeah.
But then you think of it, and MJF, everyone fucking hates him. Nobody wants him to win this title. They're just gonna fucking set the ring on fire with him in it. That's just how it's gonna work.
Now, this might come to a little bit of, I don't know how everybody's going to feel with me on this one, but we all know that most likely Hangman Adam Page is winning at Full Gear.
Yeah.
For this World Championship.
Yeah.
MJF is most likely going to be the next guy up, right?
Yeah.
And that next pay-per-view is happening in February for Full Gear. I wouldn't want this personally, but I can totally see them in like the way that they have been completely having MJF on a roll at this point. I would not be shocked at all if they just had MJF win the championship as soon as Full Gear.
That would be big too, to see MJF beat fucking Hangman Page before that title.
And as soon as he pretty much almost got it, because it went from November to February. So that's only like maybe a 3-month reign.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked at it one bit.
No, I mean it'd be insane that, MJF fucking, beat Hangman and won the title. Like that'd be insane, but at the same time it's like you said, he's on a fucking roll. And he's easily the most hated heel right now in professional wrestling.
And then you can get that whole Bryan Danielson going in there, because when Bryan Danielson does ultimately, I'm saying it right now, after everything that we've seen with this TBS Championship Tournament, I love to have Miro win the thing, but I think it's going to be Bryan Danielson. You can have Bryan Danielson and MJF right there. And you have something building already because they kind of crossed paths earlier. So you can do it. So I think it's going to be great regardless, and we'll see what happens when we'll get there. We'll get there. It's going to be a slow burn. It's going to be a slow build, but I can't wait for it when it does eventually happen. We had the match between Cody Rhodes and Andrade el Idolo next, and I have to say they tore the freaking house down.
Oh yeah, it was a good match. Obviously, fuck Cody.
Okay. How was the crowd? Tell me how the crowd was. Absolute boo fest. See? Orange. just mutes himself. I'll tell you how I felt in TV land watching it back. Everybody and their freaking mother was booing Cody Rhodes out of that building.
Hello, you hear me?
Hello, yes.
All right. So I will. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know. There was a good part of the crowd that was actually cheering Cody.
Huh.
And then
That's interesting.
But other than that, like 75% of the crowd was fucking booing Cody, flipping him off, telling you to go fuck yourself, and all this shit. So,
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard majority of boos on TV. So, telling you, right? First of all, he was wearing something completely different for his ring attire, which I was caught completely off guard with. And I love that, because he's slowly telling us, all right, we're hearing you, but like he said in last week's promo, I'm just not turning. Yeah. But he will. He will. He had a great match with Andrade. There was back and forth the entire time. We had a picture-in-picture in this match, and I have to say, they do picture-in-pictures at the worst possible times. They do these picture-in-pictures as soon as the match is like kicking off into like and they're pretty much kicking it to next gear. And that infuriates me to no end. But I mean, yes, nobody watches the commercial parts when it goes into the picture-in-picture. Everybody just focuses on that one side of the screen. But don't do it when the match is just about to pick up. That's the one gripe that I have about every single time they do picture-in-picture. But you didn't see a picture-in-picture because you were there live, so you saw everything happen. But yeah, that's just the one gripe that I have when you're watching it on TV, on the TV side of things. But so the assistant Jose distracts Cody, and Anderson pulls him off the ring apron and hits him with the right hand. Cody dives to the outside, and FTR hit Cody with the AAA Tag Team Championships.
Oh yeah.
Andrade rolls him into the ring, hits a hammerlock DDT, covers for the 1-2-3. Earlier on in the match, we had that elbow that he does.
Oh,
Cody sold that perfectly.
That shit was loud.
I don't want that as his finisher. I love that hammerlock, trust me. But that elbow that he does.
Yeah, that fake boot into an elbow is fucking awesome.
I want that as his finisher, and I've always said that. As soon as he even showed up in WWE, when he hit that, I'm like, all right, that's going to be his finisher. Let's go. I love it. And then he did a hammerlock DDT, and he won that way. But
you're talking about Andrade?
Andrade, yeah.
Okay.
He faced Cody tonight, Loff, and Andrade was actually the victor here.
Really?
He beat Cody.
Yeah, he
beat Cody.
Why?
I don't know.
FTR got involved. They hit Cody with the AAA Tag Team Championships. Because Andrade and FTR somehow they're still paying off each other to get involved in each other's business, and one
of the parts that shocked me about that, like after the match, they were attacking Cody, and then here comes fucking Arn Anderson in there, and him and Tully have a fucking face off.
They were staring off at each other, about to
fucking bust knuckles, and you have everyone in the fucking crowd on my side anyway, holding up the four, like, just fucking get back together already. Turn on Cody and join fucking Andrade.
Dude, you know when Mr. Miz was tussling up and getting those hands ready?
Yeah, that's what Anderson
That's pretty much exactly what Arn did.
Yeah.
So not only does Arn have the Glock,
But he's also got the bare
but
knuckles.
he's also got the hands.
He's got the Miz knuckles.
He's got the hands. But yeah, so Andrade actually was the one to pick up the win here. Andrade celebrating with FTR and Tully Blanchard. They all beat down Cody. Anderson and Tully face off, and they square up. The Lucha Bros run down, and they clear the ring. So it's not going to surprise me one bit. At some point, either we get this at either we get a 6-man tag on the final Dynamite before Full Gear, or we get them on the final Rampage. It's not going to shock me one bit if that happens. Cody is most likely fighting somebody that Full Gear. Whether that's going to be Malachi or whether that's going to be Andrade, that remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know that FTR and the Lucha Bros are going at her for the tag team titles anyway. Not AAA, but for the AEW ones. So
today is Mo's birthday.
It is, and I want to wish him a happy birthday. How old are you, my man? If you are so inclined to tell us.
Mo.
And look at that, some guy named Love Not Famous turns 21 Thursday.
Yeah.
Next Thursday.
You
I don't know
better
who that guy is, but yeah.
you better
I know,
party
right?
it up at a bar, my bro.
13. Okay. 13 is Mo.
Mo turns 13.
He officially graduates to being a teenager.
Yeah, Mo. What was
Look
I
at
doing
that.
at 13? I don't know what I was doing.
Look at that.
I was doing 13. What was I doing at 13?
Wow.
I'm 23
I
years
was-
old. That was 10 years ago, my man.
13.
That was 10 fucking years ago for me.
That was only 5 years for me. So
13.
Well, I am the oldest one in the group. I'm 23 years old, my old ass.
actually, well, no, because Nate's like almost 25.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Nate was older than me.
Nate's the old fucker here.
So Nate, I think it's Nate and then me.
I'm pretty sure.
least.
I'm pretty sure it's Nate, you, and then it's Batch, and then it's Saul off begging me.
So what was it like seeing John Silver live, my man? Johnny Hungy.
That shit was so funny. Like, it was cool, but at the same time, like, I had my hopes up for Adam Cole coming out during that. Like,
Yeah.
I know he got Concerto and all, but
He
I
said
was really
Budge.
hoping he came out.
He said Budge, so I was hoping something was gonna happen.
Yeah, I was just waiting to hear it's all about the boom, all that shit. I was like,
So-
no, damn it.
So laugh. The whole Budge thing. That's his nickname for Adam Cole on Being the Elite. I know Being the Elite is not really... Being the Elite is pretty much universally watched on YouTube, but not everybody tunes in because it's just some...
It's just like a vlog of like the
It's
Young
just some
Bucks, the
vlogs
Elite,
that
what
the Young
happened
Bucks do
backstage
and all
shit.
that.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching that. Fuck that.
It's just it's just pretty much comedy shit that they do backstage.
That's how like the
John
whole.
Silver.
That's how
John
the
Silver and
whole.
Owen call him Bludge.
That's how the whole Adam Cole debut shit type of stuff happened. Like
Yeah,
back then the Elite and the story, Adam Cole dies.
yeah,
And
they
then-
killed him off.
they killed him off, and then obviously Kenny
Yeah.
Omega bringing it up and all that. Who's like, it doesn't matter who you are, even if you're dead. That was instant Adam Cole. I didn't know about it until like after the whole situation happened with Adam Cole debuting, but like apparently it was like, yeah, even if you're dead, and then that was like the hint that it was Adam Cole, and that's why everyone fucking freaked out before Adam
And
Cole
then-
came out.
When it's all about the boom happened, everybody was just freaking out. And then 5 minutes later, it was Bryan Danielson, and everybody freaked out even more.
That was crazy.
and then all that happened. So,
And then you had the fight, so
so all that happened. He says, Silver talks about Budge, and this Friday, we will get Johnny Hungy, and he will beat some Budge ass. So it's going to be Adam Cole versus John Silver at Rampage. And it should be a pretty good match. I love John. I love John. I love John Silver. I think he's great. Adam Cole is obviously phenomenal in that ring. So I think they're gonna build a great match, and hopefully we see something great between the two at on Rampage. And Rampage, well, believe it or not, it's actually gonna be live this week. So it's not taped.
Huh.
Unfortunately.
Not taped. If it was taped, I'm telling you right now, 1C would still probably be there.
Probably.
Huh. Oh, that's why they didn't film it. That's why he didn't see it.
Yeah.
No, I saw Dark
Elevation taping for the YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was before Dynamite happened. So
yeah.
Because when I was at Grand Slam Off, I saw the Evolution tapings, I saw the Dark tapings, I saw Dynamite, Grand Slam, obviously, and then they filmed Rampage Grand Slam right after.
And they normally do that, like.
And they normally do that because Rampage is always taped, but this one's live for some reason because they're going to St. Louis where Eddie Kingston lives.
Okay.
So they're doing that whole CM Punk and Eddie Kingston thing.
It's pretty weird, but it is what it is. Still have fun. Don't matter.
Because trust me. Well, first of all, they need to continue doing this because you can totally tell when it's live and when it's taped. I hate that show. I hate shows are taped.
Yeah.
That brings me the old SmackDown days when SmackDown was taped, and I absolutely hated that.
Really? What year?
When it was like the old Friday Night SmackDowns, and when they were when SmackDown was on a Tuesday, it was taped.
Oh yeah, Tuesday.
Like the older versions of Friday Night SmackDown when it was like
when it was like Tuesday night SmackDowns and Thursday night SmackDown and.
But that was like on Sci-Fi or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and when SmackDown was on Sci-Fi, when it was back on that Friday as well, that was taped, and you can get these Rampage spoilers and everything like that, like as soon as Dynamite goes off the air because that's when they usually do them, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't because I want to see it
live
on TNT.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm telling you right now, in the year 2022, we're gonna get a second hour of Rampage. So everybody be prepared for that because it's going to happen.
Yeah,
we're going to have to move it in a different day, and we're going to put it on a different time slot because nobody's gonna watch Rampage on a Friday night from 10 to 12. That's just not happening.
Then definitely some sleep.
You can play on Saturdays at 8 o'clock.
I mean, you have Raw Monday, NXT Tuesday, Wednesday Dynamite, Thursday. I mean, I know you recently got back into Impact, but like I'm pretty sure like no one else.
I don't have AXS TV, so I have to watch it on my laptop.
Yeah, so I was gonna say
I'd rather be watching Rampage on Thursday
night and then make Friday SmackDown, and the weekends could be either pay-per-views or do shit that you want.
We're doing a podcast every single day at that point.
At that point, yes.
At that point, yeah. Our only break would be the weekends.
Holy. That's crazy.
Oh, and now that WWE is having some pay-per-views on Saturdays.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I don't know. Just WWE just loves to toy with us podcasters over here, but
WWE for you.
Shoving wrestling down my throat.
Yeah, but see, at least AEW only has like 4 pay-per-views a year with some sprinkled in special events. WWE has like 12 to 14 pay-per-views a month, pretty much.
I remember watching SmackDown and they showed a commercial, or I think I was watching Raw actually. They showed a commercial for Tribute to the Troops. That was already filmed like 4 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that shit was filmed like almost a month ago, and they still put it out.
Roman and Shinsuke had like a champion versus champion match or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
and they still yet to release it.
That's right, Tromel. WrestleMania is a 2-night event again this year.
Saturday and Sunday. Yep.
Saturday and Sunday, so we'll get that.
Yeah, Mo.
We have some to be announced pay-per-views. We don't even know where they're going to be. Like the February pay-per-view, it's just to be announced. I still fully guarantee that's going to be the Elimination Chamber.
And I'm sure they'll like officially announce the whole New Year's pay-per-view shit, whatever.
Judgment Day.
But they rarely do that though. Like when they said like they pretty much announced all the pay-per-views pretty much and when they're going to happen, they never do that. So I was kind of shocked when that report came out.
Yeah.
But that's what they did this year, I guess. But they moving on after that though, because we had a video package for Red Velvet and the Bunny. They're having their match at on Rampage this Friday. And then Bryan Danielson makes his entrance and he will be on commentary for the main event.
Oh, none of us knew that he was coming out, so we all fucking went crazy.
Yeah. Trust me. That when Bryan Danielson, when that music hits, it's fantastic. I love the music that they chose for him. And when he makes his way to the commentary table, a recap of him beating Kingston aired on the TV and probably on the Titantrons as well when they were having their match at Rampage. Orange Cassidy makes his entrance, and he was accompanied by Best Friends and Chris Statlander. Then Miro, the one that was actually announced for the replacement of Jon Moxley. Yes, Laugh, it was Miro, the former TNT champion. That's where I was saying it's like, all right, it's a former champion.
Understandable.
Wanted to get your mind turned. He's like, all right, who's
I wasn't
this
even
former
thinking
champion, right? Miro gets the championship opportunity, and they had a pretty damn good main event.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
This was going to be a lot longer than whatever Moxley and Orange Cassidy was going to do, because we all know how Moxley was going at the rate that he was going, slowly turning into that heel when
Moxley goes in, kicks ass, walks right out.
Right. So I don't know how they're really going to work that out now, because considering what happened with him, I don't think when he returns that he can just fully turn back to being heel, because he would just return from getting the help that he needed. So I really don't know where that's going to lead, but they'll figure it out. I know Tony will figure that out at some point. But Miro did great. Orange did great. We had Miro catching an orange punch, and Cassidy gets beach break cover for a 2 count. Miro with a body block, super kick into the game over. Cassidy taps out with both arms. He was pretty much flapping like a bird. 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Miro gets the win, and he faces Bryan Danielson at Full Gear. If that's not a great plan B, I don't know what is, because that right there is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Indeed.
I love Bryan Danielson. I love Miro. I loved what Miro's done ever since becoming the TNT champion, and then he ultimately lost it to Sammy Guevara. That was the right call. I think this is going to be a great match at Full Gear.
Absolutely. And then, so obviously that ends up, show over. And then for like a good 30 minutes, Bryan came down, and after like the whole face-off that he had with Miro, whatever, they went off air, and it was pretty fucking funny, because Bryan was just having, at first it went from like an emotional type situation into like a funny situation. So like after the show was over, Tony Khan came out and was talking about how it's, this week has been a rough week, obviously with like the whole Moxley situation and all that. And he was talking about how obviously he said the first and hardest week that they've dealt with was obviously the passing of Brody Lee.
Right.
And so, it was instant Brody chants after that. And then he was talking about how this week was the second hardest week, obviously, with Moxley and his alcohol, battles and shit. And it was instant chance for Moxley and all. And so Brian ended up taking it over and kind of brought it into a, like more of a, let's get everyone cheered up again after, mentioning these sad things. But before he did that, he was talking about how he texted Brody literally like 2 days before he passed. And he was like, how's life going? And Brian said that he got a response back from Brody and he said, life's fucking great. And then obviously 2 days later he would pass away. And then he said, he was talking about obviously him and Moxley, are pretty good friends because of the whole WWE shit or whatever. And that, Brian said that he's been through struggles too or whatever. And Moxley was actually the person that helped him get back to, who he is today. And he said that he doesn't know, like, he said that he wanted to come to AEW, but he didn't know if he would fit in and all that stuff. And he said that Moxley instantly told him, he said, just remember that you're Bryan fucking Danielson and that you do whatever the fuck it is you want to do. And so it was just like all that. And then after that, he was like, obviously, since I didn't get to fight anybody tonight, let's call in Justin Roberts. Let's get Justin Roberts up in here. And he was like, he ended up talking. He was like, about 10 years ago, I got fired for doing something to this man that I feel like I should try to do again. And so everyone was chanting, yes, do it again, all this shit. It's pretty funny.
That was when he was choking him with his own tie.
During the Nexus debut, yeah. And so he was like, Tony, if I were you, I would want to turn around and not look. And so Tony turned around and covered his eyes.
Yeah.
So he was like, Justin, do me a favor and take off your jacket. And he was like scared too. So he takes off the jacket and whatever. And Brian grabs his tie. He was like, this tie looks quite nice right now. And he was like kind of yanking on it, and Justin was like,
please,
you're getting a little tight there.
Had to have recorded that shit. Come on now.
Somebody must have. Somebody must have.
But I have to find it. I can't show it on here, but I'll have to find it at some point.
Justin said, it's getting a little tight around my neck. And Brian was like, well, then you might want to loosen it just a little bit. And so it was pretty much just like a whole funny thing. He was pretty much telling the crowd, he was like, I got fired because it wasn't PG and I was supposed to do PG shit. And he said, he went up to Tony, he was like, Tony, would it be pretty hard for me to get fired if I did this because this isn't a PG show? And Tony was like, go ahead, do it. And so it was just like this whole moment. But Brian unfortunately didn't fucking put him in a chokehold. But he was like, everybody, this is Justin Roberts, and this man is the best ring announcer in the whole entire fucking world. And so it was pretty funny. But after that, it obviously was just kind of like a, thank you fans of AEW, universe for,
that's awesome,
supporting us and all this shit and stuff like that. And it was pretty much just like a whole Justin Roberts and Bryan Danielson talking about their Nexus whole fucking situation and trying to do a repeat of it again, which was pretty funny and shit. And then obviously after, as you all can see right there, I got a picture with Orange Cassidy. So
that's awesome.
I mean, I went up to the fucking barricade, and him and Bryan Danielson were right next to each other. Bryan Danielson ended up moving away before I could get to there, and Cassidy was still over here taking pictures. And I asked him if I could get a picture, and he said, "Hell yeah!" And so I put up the phone, and of course, with my stupid ass, I have a fucking timer on my phone that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
So he was looking. So like he was watching it count down, and he was like, "Wait a minute." He was like, "You have a timer on there?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, he was reading the timer because it appears on the phone. He was like 2-1 and then walked away. I was like, bruh. And so I ended up using the motion like thing I have on my phone where he's literally posing and smiling for the camera and everything. So
All
I
right.
just ended up like screenshotting that, and it's like, because by the time I got the picture, it was like he looked away last second. So,
Wow.
but
But hey, it still was pretty damn good quality there too. So
yeah, I mean he's looking at my fucking camera. He was watching the fucking time countdown while he was in
I
pose
hate it
for the
when those
picture.
timers just automatically go on and like, bro, we don't need a timer. Like,
Exactly.
just take the picture.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so it was more so like a 5-second video with Orange Cassidy, and I just took a screenshot and turned it into a picture because that was the plan. I asked him for a picture, and he was like, "Okay, I got you," and then he just fucking watched the whole thing count down, and that was that. So, but I mean, at least he did a pose and smiled for the camera. So I was like, yeah. So I got a picture with him. So it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
But
Got
guys,
a video and a picture.
that's awesome. I was way too fucking high up. I was pretty much in the rafters at Arthur Ashe Stadium. I could not get down there, trust me. And like, listen, that thing is a tennis stadium, all right? That was not your normal arena. Those stairways, they were steep. I was looking down and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. That stadium is so high up. And when you get to that high point, you're like, yep, I'm just going to sit here and I am not going to move. Because if I do move, I feel like I'm going to fall. It was so high up, but it was so worth it because at the end of the day, it was not only a great show, but you had being high up like that, we had great seats because I was not being blocked by anybody that was taller than me. Because trust me, a lot of people are taller than me. And I saw Kenny Omega do a 30-minute time limit with Bryan Danielson. I think that was a pretty good compromise for being high up and almost having a nosebleed.
Yeah.
It was a great time. I can't wait for my next AEW event because I know it's going to happen. I feel like they're never going to come to Connecticut because they've been here for 2 years and they still haven't been here yet, but they'll come. They'll come. It'll happen. It'll be in a very small-ass arena,
What are you
but it'll
talking
happen.
about?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Hopefully when they come to Connecticut at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've never been to Connecticut in the 2 years that they've been a thing.
I was gonna say, like, didn't you just go to the and then I realized that it was in
It was in Arthur Ashe in New York.
Yeah.
So I pretty much drove the 4 hours to get there and drove the 4 hours to get back, and then an hour after that because I had to drop off my friend at his home. So I drove pretty much 9 hours in a car. My ass was hurting that entire night.
Yeah, they had AEW here tonight in Independence, Missouri, which is literally like 15 minutes away from here. So easy drive.
Great stuff. But guys, that's it for your AEW Dynamite review right here on Outside the Brand. I want to thank 1C for coming on here. I know it was a very, very hard process to not only go to AEW, but to make it in time for the podcast. Hey, you keep doing your own thing, man. I know you're not able to join here, but when you are, it's always a great time. It's always a great thing to hear from you. And considering that you were there tonight, it was a great perspective to see somebody that was there live versus somebody that watched it on TV. So it's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, my man.
Absolutely. I had to come on tonight, obviously. I was pumped up. I had the adrenaline. I'm fucking exhausted as shit though, and my voice is gonna be gone tomorrow, but it was all worth it in the end. So.
And Loft, go watch that show, man. It was
go
a
watch
good
it.
show.
If you watch this show, the fucking crowd is electric. Non-stop, you'll hear multiple fucking cussing when it comes to, the whole inner circle segment. You'll hear dipshit, fat face dipshit. You'll hear shut the fuck up. You'll hear all that shit.
MJF's promo was fucking heat. We saw Hangman Adam Page, so that's your favorite superstar right now.
Yeah, you'll hear us chant cowboy shit, and you'll hear like in the MJF whole promo, you'll hear us say shut the fuck up, and you'll see a bunch of middle fingers go at him. And
Bryan Danielson's commentary was really good. I will say that. You were not able to hear it, but the commentary was really good on the side of Bryan Danielson. It was just an overall very solid show, and I know you wanted to see it, but TNT was just saying no, you're not watching it tonight.
No, you wait until Dark comes on, because the fucking freestyle that Max Caster had on us, bro. Ooh, that shit pissed me off, bro. I gave him the fucking fingers.
Oh god,
bro. I said, "Fuck you."
Now, Dark and Dark Elevation usually happens on Monday and Tuesday, so they wouldn't have aired that. So that was probably the next tapings.
Yeah.
For the Dark and Dark Elevation. Yeah, so that'll happen next Monday and next Tuesday. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you guys have not already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. Also, the MFN Right remix down in the description below by Bash and Loft. Heat, absolute heat. It's banger. It's a great thing to listen to. You miss anything on the channel, go check it out. We have our Raw review and our NXT review. Tomorrow's Thursday, so it's going to be an off day. We're fine, unless really something big happens.
Which I doubt.
Yeah, like unless something big happens, you pretty much won't be seeing us here. But you will be seeing us here on Friday for the Rampage and Friday Night SmackDown review. And then it's the weekend, so nothing for this weekend, but when it comes to next weekend, because next weekend is Full Gear.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we have the Dynamite on next Wednesday. We have that Rampage next Friday, and then I believe Saturday. I believe the Rampage is the pay-per-view is on the Saturday this time around. Need to be Full Gear, November 13th, Saturday. Yep. So I'm obviously getting it. I don't know about everybody else, but regardless, I'm going to be on here, and we're going to be doing a review. So we'll see you guys then. Peace out, guys. Do you guys have anything else left to say before we get the hell out of here? Because I know we're all pretty much fucking tired.
I believe our outro is really good. You already know who it is, man. Orange 1C in the building. Catch me on TikTok at the Real 1C. You already know.
Show off that shirt one more time, bro.
All Elite, baby.
Baby.
That's a nice shirt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Catch me on TikTok at the Real 1C. You already know.
Loft, what you got going on, my man?
Batch might kill me because I'm saying this, but I thought about it now, so I'm gonna just say it. If y'all thought that the song that we did together was cool, only thing I can say from now on, if you're waiting for something else, all I can say is Merry Christmas. 25. So
it's a little bit of a tease. So if you guys can put that brain puzzle in your head, try to figure it out. Okay.
Merry Christmas, man.
I did get our updated banner for the channel. Looks great. It's still a work in progress though, so we'll get everything set and ready to go. The the background that'll incorporate everything when it comes to Dynamite, SmackDown, and Raw, and NXT, and all of that. That's still being worked on. I still got to try to find some wrestling references that he can put into the background. That way it'll actually look like a wrestling background and not just something completely generic. It's going to look great, guys, but that's it. We'll talk to you guys soon, Friday, for SmackDown and Rampage. Talk to you soon. Peace.